Just like that, we get another Lord of the Rings Lego set. This time around, we are looking at Barad-dûr, the Eye of Sauron Tower. This has 40 bags. What I like to do with the bags is I like to number them, order them, and then reverse put them in the box. That way I can just reach in and grab the next number. Comes with 3 booklets of instructions and about 11 stickers. All right, I'm 1 bag in. I got the little build started over here. I got my coffee right here with the Lord of the Rings mug. I got Fellowship of the Ring going on the screen. I mean, life could not be any better. Also, Frodo seems really happy to be right here, and the lava just right behind him. He's like, I could die right about now, but boy, it's a good time to be alive. Granger is also helping me with the build. You do. Bada bing, bada boom, Barad-dûr. And that's how it's done. I'm testing out a new green screen, so if you hate it, don't tell me. So this tower comes in really close to 3 feet tall. It is massive, takes up a ton of space, comes with some great figures. And let's go over it in the order that you build the instructions. So you start off with this massive base. It's kind of D-shaped, very similar to Cinderella's castle. Both versions are kind of shaped the same. Inside, we've got a lava chamber where you could torture a Skelliman. There's an initial hallway down the center, which has got like some workshop hardware items to work on. And then over on the right side, there's like a forge that is expanded on, and there's just a lot of space to put a lot of figures. And luckily, you don't tile off the floor down here. And there's even a little spot for the new Gollum minifigure. Here you can see me torturing this poor Skelliman over and over again, being put into the lava, which could be what happened to Gollum, we don't know. Now, in order to open up the doors, you go to the side of the build, turn that little rock feature, and Bob's your uncle, the door is open and closed. It's kind of an overly done mechanic, but I'm glad that they included that as a play feature. As far as play features go, that is it for the first level. Just the Skelliman and the door, but that's okay because I think the whole first level looks really, really nice. Now the openness of this bottom level is really nice, and I appreciate the playability where you can kind of pose all the figures you want inside of it without having any kind of issues reaching your hand back in there. The one big tedious thing about this whole build was the rock work around the bottom and all the lava. Lots of the pieces kind of look the same, and you really got to make sure that all of the pieces are facing the right direction. That was kind of the only main tedious part of the build, and even then it's broken up pretty evenly amongst a bunch of bags. Next up, we have a very large kitchen. The space is completely devoted to building up a dining room and a kitchen. That's right, this much space for a huge set is kind of weird, but nonetheless, I think that they've done a decent job with this. The outside is really nice because you can see the different coloration changes as you go down on the exterior rods, and that's to simulate the light reflecting on the very shiny black building. Now, the dining room is filled with lots of little details, especially the kitchen table. It's filled with meat and cups, which I can assume are non-adult beverages like Kool-Aid or lemonade or things like that, especially pink lemonade. Now, the rest of the kitchen, it's got some seating options for the orcs or Sauron if he's hungry enough. When I say that there's this much space devoted to kind of a wasteful joke, I'm referring, of course, to the orc in, I believe, Two Towers, who says, "Look like meat's back on our menu, boys." There is a menu.
Looks like meat's back on the menu, boys.
And it seems weird that all of this space would be devoted to such a weird kind of joke, but, you know, we don't really see what's inside Barad-dûr in the movies, so as far as we know, orcs gotta eat somehow, and I guess this is just the place that they do it. That's it for the dining room level of this set. It's an okay part of the set, nothing too crazy, but what I'm really excited about is this third and final part, which includes the Eye of Sauron himself. And the exterior's got some, I wouldn't call it greebling, it's just textures, and they've got lots of different nice parts usage. And they've got these mimic windows that are meant to show, like the orange on the inside is kind of like the glowing flame of evil represented inside this tower. The rockwork was really nice to put together, a very satisfying use of snot techniques all over, especially that rockwork. Now the rest of the tower it's got a bunch of pointy, sharp ends, which is nice to see, and it's very, very ominous, which is exactly what you'd want when this is the main tower of the big baddie. Speaking of the big baddie, we have a throne for Sauron, and this is yet another play feature for this set. Now, at first I thought the flags kind of looked like the First Order from Star Wars, but you know, you pull this little knob out, ba-da-dum, and you reveal a Palantir. The Palantir is, of course, a way for Sauron to grow his forces. And on the Palantir here, we have some new exclusive prints. On one side, the Burning of the Shire, which is, of course, Frodo's nightmare. And on the other side, we have the White Tree of Gondor on fire. And if you remember in Return of the King, they're worried that the White Tree is dead. And then those suspicions are confirmed, but reversed later. But, you know, that's neither here nor there. Next up, we have a desk area. I believe that this is for the Mouth of Sauron, to do all of his work, to figure out what Sauron needs, and to, I guess, write it down. Now, part of this build has those curved stickers, which weren't as big a pain as I thought they would be, but, you know, large stickers, meh. And if you look in the sticker, looks like the Mouth of Sauron in his office did end up with the gift with purchase Fell Beast, which is nice to see. Now, overall, this little area is, I wouldn't say wasted. I mean, what else are you going to do with a little space like this? So I think they probably did the best job that they could with the space provided. Next up is one of my favorite parts of the set, and that's because we've got this nice tall staircase, and the idea of either Sauron or the Mouth of Sauron doing any sort of reading, to me, is at least very comical. What are they reading? Are they reading Harry Potter? Are they reading Lord of the Rings? We just don't know, because none of the books and the stickers have any titles. Now, one of the play features here is that the staircase can swivel, and the idea of Sauron or Mouth of Sauron on a staircase singing like Belle from Beauty and the Beast, I think is kind of hilarious. Now, like I said before, all parts of this build can be stacked on top of one another. We just slide that in like I slide into your grandma's DMs, and that click that you hear in the background confirms that it's locked into place. And the same exact thing happens with levels 2 and 3. Slide it in, slide it into your DMs like I do with your grandma again, because she wouldn't stop texting me. And bada boom, bada bing, it's all done. And you've assembled the giant Eye of Sauron. Now, that's not it. The Eye of Sauron has an eye, and that eye glows red. Oh no, it can see us. Yep, the Eye of Sauron has a light brick behind it. It doesn't do a fantastic job. Then again, I don't think light bricks do a great job most of the time, unless it's in a very niche kind of build, like in the Winter Village sets where they use the light brick for the fire. But the Eye of Sauron does swivel around, and I'm really happy that they included that much mobility with the eye, and it wasn't just a firm place and a single looking eye in one direction. I did try out the eye in a dark room with all the lights off, and it really didn't do a whole lot. So I think they could have easily excluded the light brick from the set, and that would have been just fine in my eyes. Whether or not that would have affected the price a whole lot, I'm not too sure. But something that I really do like about the set is its overall presence in a room. I tried to hide this giant black tower somewhere around the apartment so that my wife would not see it, but each time she noticed it, especially when I tried to shove it in the microwave. That wasn't very easy at all. But all of the coloration here is what I was talking about earlier, about the light reflecting onto the walls of the tower, and I think they've done a really great job doing that and showing that this isn't just one big black blob. It's got lots of color, and the stone does a great job of dividing up that monotonous black on black. So seeing the amount of colors that they could put in this was great. And here's an example of how tall it is. So just for reference, I'm about 8'4", and this set is still pretty tall next to me on a table. Now here's the beauty shot, just going from up to down and all around. If you're a Lord of the Rings fan, this is the one. This set looks amazing. I could not recommend this more.
Minifigure time, let's go!
All right, first up, we have this side build that includes Sam and Frodo. I'm not gonna put on their hair because it's the exact same Sam and Frodo that we got in Rivendell. Nothing overly special. The back prints are the same too. Sam and Frodo do come with some accessories that are relevant if you've read the books, watched the movies. You don't need me to tell you what they are. You've got some weapons, and by weapons I mean one sword and a sausage with these two beautifully printed orcs, Uruk-hai. I'm not too sure about that red bandana though, but the back printing's really nice. And overall, they look good. Next up, we've got Goth-Mog, the Lieutenant of Morgul, and they've done a really great job with his printing. Next door, we've got just a regular bland orc who's nameless, but regardless, I'm happy to get as many of those as possible. We get a new Gollum. He looks fantastic. We also get yet another orc. The printing on him is fantastic. He's the one that works down in the forge. I'm happy that Gollum is not nude. I'm happy that they included that little loincloth. The big ones, we've got Sauron and the Mouth of Sauron. What could I possibly say that's not already been said? These are just absolutely perfect minifigures, and I'm so happy we finally get them. Now for the $460 question of the day. Is this set worth it? For that much money, and for me personally, as a huge Lord of the Rings fan, yes, this set is worth it. Now, if I had to choose between this set or Rivendell, I think I'm going to choose Rivendell. As a fan of both The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, Rivendell fits in both of those worlds, and Barad-dûr only fits in one of those worlds. Is this just a big black tower? Yes. If you're a Lord of the Rings fan and you like Lego, this is a perfect set for that demographic. But so is Rivendell. And I'm hoping in the future, so is Minas Tirith. So as far as Lego putting out Lord of the Rings, Middle-earth sets, I'm okay with them continuing the trend of yearly mega sets, rather than a bunch of smaller sets that don't show off the overall scene super well. Now, does this set have some flaws? Yeah, I think they wasted a little bit too much space on the kitchen joke, but what else would you fill that with? Because Barad-dûr is not a building we saw the inside of in Lord of the Rings. We saw flashbacks of Sauron, but we never got to see the interior of this tower, so we really don't know what is inside of it. So I guess in that regard, I'm okay with Lego taking some creative lead on this and putting in a pretty funny joke. I can sit here and say that this set should always be less money. I mean, you could say that about any Lego set on the market. You know, I wish that it cost less. I wish that it didn't have X amount of stickers, blah, blah, blah. But that's pointless because this is what we got. We've got this large black tower. And to me, I think it looks great. It's kind of difficult to put anywhere in a home or an apartment, but that's just kind of the nature of large Lego sets. So if you don't have the space, don't get it. Or if you don't have the space, buy it and then make the space, which is what I'm gonna do. I think that there were more iconic buildings and sets and scenes from Lord of the Rings and Middle-earth that could have and maybe should have gone before this building. But now we've got a good duality. So last year we had Rivendell come out. And then we have the Eye of Sauron, which is the total opposite of that. And that's okay. So maybe next time we'll get Minas Tirith or a Mega Shire or Hobbiton or something like that. But what happens in the future is up to the future. And I'm thrilled with what we got here. So on a scale of 0 to 10, I'm giving this a solid 9.5. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate all your support. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.